And so more often, we just suffer alone. Suffering indeed is an inevitable part of life, of our existence on this earth. It is everyone's experience. In fact, at present, I can see just around my family and my community, among friends and acquaintances, situations that cause sadness and distress. We have one in our family in our family circle, battling with a serious illness. And it affects me mentally and everyone in the family. There's another colleague who's also dealing with similar health problem. We have here our friends, member of our own family in this church, just a couple of days ago, who lost a father, a husband, a grandmother, an uncle. There's another whose marriage and family is breaking apart. You know, situations like that give you some degree of anguish. My question is, what God have to do? What God have to do with or can do with our situations? Is there something He can do to comfort us, to help us manage our pain and suffering? Just like in the song we sang earlier, we ask, does Jesus care? Does God really care? And we also sing the answer, oh yes, He cares. But how? In what way does God care and help us with our present troubles? Of course, we can find many accounts in the Bible and even in the lives of many individuals that convince us that God cares. No question. For tonight, we'll visit a couple of those accounts to rediscover and to refuel ourselves with the great truth and reality that God does really care. I would like you to, inviting you to open your Bibles to John 11. And this chapter accounts the story of Lazarus, his sickness and his death. Let us try to read John 11, 1-7. Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. I'd like to share my quick points and reflections on this. Lazarus, a close friend of Jesus, is sick. He was not only a casual or an ordinary friend, but he is a close, special friend of Jesus. Not only him, but also his two sisters. They are close to Jesus. And Lazarus is dying of a serious illness. It is serious because we know the account is that in a short time, he died. And so we can take here that even the friend of Jesus is not spared from suffering. So let us dismiss the idea in our mind that if you are faithful to God, you will never encounter troubles. Yes, there might be times that God will spare us from troubles, but not all the time. What we need is to have a steady trust in His love and in His wisdom, that whenever He allows us to go through suffering, it is for our good. It's a difficult thought, but it is for our good. Jesus said here, this sickness is not unto death. Are we gravely sick? Are you suffering from a serious health condition? This might not be for death, but for the glory of God. God might be working in our lives through sickness or through any forms of suffering for His glory, for our salvation. Lazarus' sickness, although it is not detailed, but I believe was severe, that it caused great worry and concern for his two sisters. That is why, as we can observe, they informed Jesus right away of the situation, believing that He alone could heal their brother. Jesus is their only hope in this situation. The condition calls for an immediate response, and so I believe they expect also for a prompt response from Jesus. But Jesus delays, and Lazarus' condition worsened rapidly and died sooner than Jesus could respond. For Martha and Mary, I can't imagine how they feel without seeing the shadow, even the shadow of Jesus, during this time of great need. It could be a devastating experience for them to receive no response from a friend. And if I were in their case, I might as well feel disappointed or abandoned by a friend, who is in this case my only hope. Here's the description from the Desire of Ages. Mary and Martha believed that Jesus would sympathize with them in their distress. Therefore, they sent a confiding message, "He whom thou lovest is sick." They thought that He would immediately respond to their message and be with them soon. Anxiously, they waited for a word from Jesus. As long as the spark of life was yet alive in their brother, they prayed and watched for Jesus to come. But the messenger returned without him. Yet he brought the message, "This sickness is not unto death." And they clung to the hope that Lazarus would live. Tenderly, they tried to speak words of hope and encouragement to the almost unconscious sufferer. When Lazarus died, they were bitterly